Many people view camping as a tranquil getaway from the stress of daily life, an opportunity to relax, re-establish a connection with the natural world. However, as some campers have discovered the hard way, there's never quite peace in the bush.
I'm calling the police!
The following stories, which range from horrific run-ins with enigmatic individuals to spooky wildlife encounters, serve as a reminder that sometimes the most horrifying and unexpected events can occur in the most unlikely places. So have a seat, and let's look at some of the scariest camping incidents that have ever been documented on camera. Number 1. With low visibility, possible wildlife interactions, the possibility of becoming lost, and susceptibility to criminal activity, traveling alone in the forest at dark is perilous. Given this information, the majority of us wouldn't go for a walk at night in a forest, but for this specific individual, it's simply another stroll around a park. The man is only experimenting with his freshly acquired night vision gear. However, he is able to videotape this after a few moments. The footage cuts off suddenly, so we're still not sure what he was able to capture that evening. Number 2. As a guest on Discovery UK's Alone in the Wild series, Freddie Flintoff has amassed a wealth of camping information over many years, making him a seasoned and hardened wanderer. He is hardly alarmed by the numerous dangers that come with camping in wilderness, but he looks to run out of luck this evening. Freddie is attempting to concentrate on his camera, but something is getting in the way. He notices odd sounds occurring outside the tent as he relaxes and gets ready for bed. As soon as the creature enters the picture, the video falls out of focus. However, anyone would be frightened by the noises emanating from it and the animal's frantic behavior. Later, it was determined that the creature was a lion, which just goes to indicate how fortunate Freddie was to have survived this adventure. If the lion had decided to inspect his tent, things might have become ugly very fast. Number 3. Sam posted a video of his covert camping expedition in Cleveland's forests in January 2024. He left his vehicle at a nearby dog park just a few meters away. He comes over a completely destroyed camping tent while heading in the forest, which is actually a little unsettling, but he continues. He pitches a camp in the forest and uses his camp stove to prepare food. He observes some horrible feelings and feels that he might be at risk from them as the sun sets, and he spots a few people strolling past the camping site. The majority of seasoned campers would likely advise you to call it a day and get out if you see any problem while you're camping. Sam, though, made the decision to persevere for the evening and continued to film. Everything begins turning really creepy right away as he crawls inside the camp to go to sleep. The sound of footsteps nearby seems to be becoming ever more audible as the time ticks by. Sam shouts out to whoever is outside at one point. However, he initially receives no reaction. Sam doesn't start experiencing every camper's worst fears until he calls out for the 5th or 6th time. It's generally not a smart idea to exhibit weakness if you're being followed or assaulted by an outsider in the heart of the forest. It appears that the intruders then depart from the site. However, as soon as he exits, Sam notices them hanging oddly a short distance away in the trees. After the unsettling experience, he clearly chooses to call it a night and return to his
I'm
RV
recording all of this!
completely freaked out.
I'm calling the police!
Sam's situation just gets worse. He notices the assailants taking his belongings as he heads back to the park and turns to face the campground. But, scared for his life, he makes the decision to leave his belongings behind. He turns around while he's rushing through the woods and realizes his enemies are after him. He safely returned to his vehicle, made his way home, and gave his audience a rundown of all that had transpired. It's basically anyone's guess as to who the two individuals that attacked and stalked him were and what they wanted. That's a really screwed up joke to play on someone, if this was a joke with Sam. It's also evident, though, that looting the campsite wasn't really their main goal, as the uploader went back the next morning and confirmed that they didn't actually wind up stealing his items. If he hadn't fled the encampment, we have no idea what they would have done to him. But in any case, what he did was probably a smart idea. Number 4. Lucas Brunel and his pals had gone camping when they were bored and went for a walk in the woods. However, their little stroll soon becomes bizarre as they discover an odd setup concealed in the middle of the forest. Lucas makes an effort to persuade his buddies to go. However, they advise him to stay until an unexpected situation forces them to flee for their life. Number 5. While out going camping in a forest, these boys make the decision to record their adventure. To relax in the tranquility of nature, they brought their K9 sidekicks along. In order to escape the anxiety of urban life, the two brothers choose a little pond where they may swim, unwind, and prepare a fast lunch for themselves. As night fell, they made the decision to set up camp next to a stream to take in the rest of the night by building a bonfire close to their camp. When they discover anything in the shadows in the middle of night, their response tells us a lot about what's going on. They choose to depart and head home in the following scene. The weird man who begins talking about strange things forces the brothers to flee. If any of these brothers choose to camp in the woods, they will definitely not go near that location. Number 6. Just when the camper is getting comfortable with his surroundings and engaging with his audience via the camera, this occurs. He is afraid and certain that he may be haunted by anything. In the face of all of the supernatural danger indicators, he chooses to go to bed. Suddenly, his cell phone wakes him up out of the blue. Thinking it strange that Siri, an Apple program, opened without being asked. This happened when he made the decision to look into his phone. He had just filmed some spooky foot footage, so I'm sure he was scared. Number 7. Grizzly Gaz is a YouTube channel dedicated to camping and trekking in the UK. The uploader Gaz is featured in numerous videos on the channel. He camps in some extremely difficult circumstances in several of his videos, and he frequently shares video of his unplanned meetings with large creatures in the center of the forest. Gaz posted a video of his overnight adventure in the UK forests. The first portion of the video shows Gaz establishing a camp and cutting wood for a fire as the sun sets. The entire camping trip went just as planned. In the following scene, Gaz was cooking meat on his campfire. A stranger wearing a coat and jeans came up to his camping area and requested for a meal and a beverage. Despite the fact that the interaction with the man was somewhat mild, even now, it can be a little unsettling to be camping in the middle of nowhere and have a stranger approach you and beg for something. Pay close attention to what he's saying. There are a few somewhat unclear lines, and it sounds like he talks a lot. It's almost as though he's lost his mind. Gaz discloses later in the video that Martin was homeless and that he revealed his story while they were eating supper together. Gaz also claimed that Martin had unexpectedly left the campground when he turned back after taking a quick break to cut some more wood to keep the fire going during dinner. The uploader made the decision to leave the campsite and go home after the bizarre incident because he was afraid the man may return with his friends to rob him or worse, to see if the strange man would return in the dead of night, potentially with malicious intent. In order to record all that happened that evening, Gaz actually left a trail camera atop the tree at the campsite. It's probably for the best that Gaz left the campsite and didn't return until the following morning, judging by his actions. He had left his trail camera, and when he returned, it was completely gone. Number 8. When it comes to their camping outings, the majority of campers will admit that they are more terrified of encountering malicious individuals than hostile wildlife. This video serves as the ideal illustration of why. The man documents what transpired one night when he set up camp on the side of the road in Cornwall in a video that was posted in September 2022. Parking restrictions technically meant he wasn't supposed to be sleeping there, so he did everything he could to hide the fact that he was going to be spending the night by the side of the road. He gets into his van before the sun sets and begins preparing dinner, trying to keep the noise to a minimum to avoid drawing unwelcome attention. Approximately at 9 p.m. After turning out the lights, he heads to sleep. Everything appears to be going smoothly, but Shan's night takes a very unpleasant turn at around 2 in the morning. In the middle of the night, especially if you park somewhere you shouldn't, it's not unusual for lone campers to be asked to relocate. However, it is quite doubtful that this was a police officer or another official with the power to order them to go. As in these situations, they would nearly always knock first and make their presence known vocally. They will ask you to leave as soon as they have your focus, but they won't approach a van by the side of the road and try to open the door without making their intentions known. The likelihood of someone attempting to break into Sean's van is substantially higher. Fortunately, the intruder vanished after a short while, leaving Sean free from further harassment. These kinds of interactions can be very upsetting, but fortunately, Sean awoke the following morning unscathed, and soon after that was traveling to his next location. Keep your camera ready and use caution the next time you venture into the outdoors. Thus, you can never be sure what might be in the world. Please remember to hit the notification bell, like, and subscribe to this video if you liked it. It will provide you with more spooky experiences and terrifying tales.